The business card I hand out says realtor. That's what I do for a living. A 3% commission in this town is a large amount of money, but it's only part of what I do. Most people wouldn't have bought their home if they knew what happened in it before. You can't look at murder and crime statistics and not wonder where it all happens. Now add suicides, hospice care, drug overdoses, disease, accidental death, and you end up with a lot of people dying. That new paint, those new floors, they were done to cover up the fluids someone left behind. And you'll never be more alone than you are as your cold corpse lays rotting, bloating, and falling apart from the inside. Days go by and no one has come to check on you. Imagine if you had to watch as your body rots, helplessly. That would build up a hate in most. A hate and an anger that will fester and grow. All that pin-up, mad, angry energy crammed in that nice little 2-bedroom, 1-bath that just came on the market. And it's ready to take that anger out on the first person foolish enough to ignore the hair standing up on their neck or the shadows they see out of the corner of their eye. Everyone has unfinished business when they die. But it's the hate, the disdain that seeps into the walls, the floors, the house, and it binds it there. That is the type of stain you can't paint over. My phone vibrates. It's a heads up from a friend that cleans crime scenes. I've known her since college. Wish she'd never dropped out. I've seen what the job has done to her over the years. The shit she sees. The depressed brain matter people spray everywhere when they finally give up. She has to pick it up. She has to find every little piece and remove it. Skull fragments can be sharp and jab right through nitrile gloves. Did you know hepatitis C can live 3 weeks outside the body? Which means if you get a poke, you should just assume you have it until they clear you. I can tell that every single piece of a person she picks up slowly eats away at her. When she finally dies, it might be best to just burn the place down, rather than try to remove her spirit, energy, or whatever you call it. Reading her text, the new place will be on the market soon. I'll have to call back in a bit. I can buy a property for cheap and rent it out and sell it to another investor with a tenant already attached. The tenants never have to know what happened in there. The investor with guaranteed income could care less. But living in a house with an active spirit will wear on you. What's most fucked up? Victims are the most angry ghosts. I know for sure it can lead to an interesting childhood. But if you remove them, the house is just another box of sheetrock and pine wood. Growing up, my parents bought an old house, turn of the 20th century. It had history. The man who built it for his new bride was sent off to the Great War. They lost the baby months after he went overseas. When he returned, she had boarded up the second floor. She said she could hear the baby crying and crawling around up there. Police found his body at the bottom of the stairs where she had hanged herself from the banister. The second floor had been reopened. Months later, the church bought the property, but it quickly became a makeshift hospital for those suffering from the Spanish flu. Tens died there. Many stuck around in their ghostly form. 2 priests lived there between 1920 and 1952. Soon after, a new priest convinced the church to sell. The house changed hands a few times until 1962. The Mindels, a retired couple, moved in. They positioned themselves as pillars of the community in that small town, active in the community service clubs, lay leaders, volunteers at the food shelter, and fostering children. Slowly that changed. They retreated more and more into that place. He died first. An accident in the yard while trimming some limbs near the master bedroom window from the second story. Soon, no one saw her at all. Church members would bring her food and volunteer to cut the bushes and landscape, slowly winding its way up the house. Till one day the police made a welfare check.
Mrs. Mendel, police.
Based on the smell, they decided to enter the house.
Miss Mendel?
The front door barely opened enough to squeeze in. The main hall had a narrow walk space to the family room between trash, furniture, beds, boxes.
Miss Mendel?
She had turned that small family room into her world.
Miss Mendel, police. We're
They had
coming
to
in.
break down that door too. It was bolted from the inside,
Miss Mendel, you in there?
like she was trying to prevent something getting to her. Dead bodies smelled bad enough, but add piles of mildewing books, mounds of decaying food, cat piss and shit. Her, piss and shit, Miss Mendel had decided to slowly starve to death. The cats didn't, though. Cats are like most people. If it's you or them, it's going to be you. When the priest came to bless the house, he noted that other than the locks, the Mendels had made huge changes to the place since he lived there as a young man. When my family moved in, we found out just how much had actually been done. My parents ran into some strange things when remodeling. A door had been completely sealed off. They just removed the handle, walled up both sides, and covered it with wallpaper. One day, a woman who the Mendels had fostered as a child stopped by the house. She told my family of all the changes. A second staircase, which had been used by kitchen staff and maids, had been removed completely. The Mendels had removed the stairs to the attic and ripped up the flooring there. The chimney from the first floor fireplace was sealed in the attic. It didn't even penetrate the roof anymore. To get to the attic, you had to use a ladder they installed in a closet. My closet. As a kid, I didn't understand why anyone would remove stairs for a ladder until my grandfather had to move in with us. Toward the end, he wasn't himself. He started to see all sorts of things in that place. One day we came home from church and he was in the middle of flipping the door to his bedroom around. He moved the hinges so the handle was on the opposite side. He said it was so they couldn't open his door at night anymore. He said a doorknob that has been moved was a doorknob they couldn't find. He said a lot of things like that. Now I'm glad he died in a nursing home and not in that house. It wasn't until years later, after I had left, that I saw my parents falling to that same story. Bolts on doors, keeping something inside the rooms instead of keeping people out, just like the Mendels. The energy of that house, of the things left there, it intrigued me. That we leave part of ourselves behind, and not a good part. As soon as I started getting my life together, my dad's health started to slip away. His work injuries became disabling, and fighting with insurance became a part-time job. Then my personal life went to shit. I caught my fiancée cheating. Our mutual friends turned on her. Her work fired her. She was sleeping with a subordinate. And not just like a coworker, an intern. She blamed me somehow. The kid was 19. I ruined everything, according to her. Of course, being someone who thought he didn't even deserve her, a loser, I was still willing to try and piece something back together. But I couldn't right away. I needed some time away from her just to deal with it all, to breathe. So I visited my parents in my hometown for 2 weeks. When I returned, I found her. She thought she deserved everything in the world, like I had stolen something from her. She didn't think that I deserved her. She thought she was better than me and deserved more than just me. But he didn't have to find her like that. I did. Even after her death, I was the one there for her. She was still using me. I was safe. I would clean up her mess. I was weak. A fucking loser. Please don't clean anything. You have to hire someone. Unknowingly, I hired an old friend. At the time, I hadn't seen her since a year after she dropped out of college. She cleaned up, cut the carpet out, coated everything in cleaning enzymes. When I finally returned to the house, it was empty. All the stuff was there, but my fiancée wasn't. I didn't feel her energy, and I wished I would. I didn't really believe in God or an afterlife. I never saw what my grandfather did, but I somehow still missed her. A few weeks later, her parents returned the engagement ring to me. They didn't think it should be buried with her. That night I woke up and saw her. Well, part of her. There she sat, on the edge of the bed, crying, and then suddenly yelling my name. I started sleeping on the couch. It wasn't for another few nights that I finally realized why I'd seen her after all this time. The ring. Some part of her spirit, her energy was soaked into that ring. My mind raced with what that could mean. Life wasn't this cosmic accident with a beginning and an end. We don't just stop being. Somehow she was in that ring. I had to be sure. I couldn't do that when she died. If it was the ring, I'd have to take it somewhere she couldn't have been before. I found a property for sale on my company's listing website. A cabin in the hill country. Nothing else around. I arrived at sunset. The door had a simple push-button lockbox, so no one would know when I came or went. It was perfect. I placed her ring in the center of the empty living room and waited. Hours went by. And then she appeared. Faded, mist-like. She seemed confused. She walked around in circles, searching. She walked up to a wall and searched. Her hand faded as it touched the wall. She turned and looked at me, seething with frustration. I fumbled with the door and ran outside. I stopped in the yard and I could see her through the open door. But it was like she didn't see me. She screamed out my name. I watched her search for a way out, which she never found. Like she was still in our house somehow. Standing in the front yard of the cabin watching her, I would have been in the neighbor's house. It was like the world she was in, that ethereal plane, couldn't be moved or touched. It trapped her there. The ring was like a portal into a specific place in her plane where her energy remained. If her energy remained. If she had been attached to the house, she would have never been in that cabin. If whatever my grandfather saw had attached to anything but that house, they would have been haunting a booth at an antiques mall or knick-knack display in someone's home. So I kept going back to that cabin. I would check to make sure no other agents had been looking at the property, and I would return to experiment. Eventually, I bought the cabin as an investment property with my real estate company's funds, but we couldn't rent it out yet. I still needed to fix it up some. I couldn't keep setting up and breaking down, and I definitely could not explain what I was doing there if someone walked in. Not with the contraptions I was making. I learned quick that most ghost hunting forums online are a bunch of basement dwellers, looking for some meaning to their pathetic lives. Wanting to feel special, that they belong to a special club, outcasts who know the real truth. But not all of them, though. Some want something more. Power. I say power, and you probably think sex, money, political, and that's true, but also power and whatever is beyond. They tend to see through the posers. They seem to recognize their own. I kept asking questions online, trying to never let too much info out about myself or what I was doing. Not all of them are plebeians, and some of them seemed a cross between desperate and dangerous. After getting some basic questions answered, I tried building a proof of concept. Something small, just big enough around the ring. But she wouldn't materialize. There was a glow that would come and fade. Touching anything would cause her to fade. Faded too long, and I would have to wait until the next night to try again. That's when I started messing with materials. Folklore talks about iron to protect against ghosts. Some say it's because of the iron spikes used on Jesus' cross. That's not why you use iron. God wasn't in that cabin with me. He could give a shit about your symbolism if he existed. It's because iron is dense. Heavy metals work even better to contain the energy. Each one of my tries made her more upset, more confused, stronger. Lead worked best for me. Well, best for what I could afford. If I enclosed the ring in lead, the room wouldn't glow with her at all. But there were still small spikes of EMF leaking out of that crudely made box. Not as strong as without the box, but they were there. So I made a larger box, first out of steel because it's cheap and easy to get, but not as dense. Getting lead isn't hard. All the big box home repair stores have it in small rolled sheets, but you can only buy so much before people start asking questions about your roofing business or thinking you're building a dirty bomb. So I built a metal box 4 foot by 6 foot with a sliding wall. And it was working. She would appear and I could close the wall, take some more measurements, experiment with magnetic fields inside the box, high voltage arcs. It took forever for me to get this far. At this point, I had one chance a night to trap her and experiment. Slowly made adjustments to the box. I would shrink the box with her in it, down to 2 cubic feet. Any smaller and it seemed like the ball of energy would try to stay where it first formed, slowly leaking out back to that point, and she would disappear until the next night. When she would first materialize, I could see the hate in her eyes. She couldn't understand the gift she was giving me. It's strange. If you buy roofing supplies by the foot, you'll end up on a list, but buy a lead-lined coffin, and they ask you if you need liftgate service for delivery. The irony of trapping a spirit in a coffin isn't lost on me. After many modifications and many iterations, I was finally able to trap her and squeeze her down even more. I verified through a pinhole instant camera sealed in the box. I would fire the machine down, then the small hole would open and it would take a picture at intervals. In the morning, I could verify by each new photo. I could trap her and compress that down into a smaller box. Small enough to carry, but she wouldn't stay through the night. I'd stopped posting online by this point. I had become the expert on the subject. I had no use for them. Still obsessing about out-of-focus dirt on an IR camera, when here I had the energy of a person released at death in my hands. Well, almost. I still had to know, was the ring actually where she was stored, or just some sort of gateway for her? Could she find her way without it, or would she stay? After so many months of showing properties during the day and using my nights experimenting, I finally try attaching her to another object. Not as energy like she was in the box, but a resting state. Attach her to something else like she was with the ring. I would be able to take energy from anywhere, houses, hospitals, and move them where I wanted. All that energy. I had to introduce a new item to the box and remove the ring. So I placed a coin in the small box with the ring in the larger section, and I closed everything up. I ran through the procedures, squeezing her energy down, firing the box closed. In the morning, I opened the box and extracted the coin. Just like the ring, it seemed normal. Was she there? That night I waited with the coin inside the machine. Her ring inside the old larger cage. She had grown so very angry with me with my experiments. I couldn't take the chance of her being out if I failed. I sat waiting. The setting sun slowly encasing the cabin in darkness, until a faint glow grew into a blinding light through the small porthole lead glass window where the coin was. It worked. Whatever a spirit was attached to, I could move it, attach it to something else, and make it portable. But as of right now, I only had a few hours where she was active. The coin was now her gateway, but if I was going to do anything with that energy, harness it, I need more time from her. Which brings us to tonight. It's a first step of my last experiment. I'm going to try to separate her completely from the object and leave her in the latest version of the device with no escape. The final box configuration, 6 small tungsten plates. No gateway back to wherever she goes, whatever plane she crosses over to. As I wait for her to appear, Lights from a car stretch up the long gravel drive. I turn off the few lights I have and peer out the window. You don't get accidental visitors up here. The car rolls to a stop. A large man steps out of the driver's seat. He's wearing a sports coat over a V-neck. Taking a quick look around, he straightens his coat, pats off the dust that followed the car up the driveway, and approaches the door. His giant hands knock softly. I hold still, hoping whatever it is that brought him here, he will just leave. He knocks harder.
Mr. Doyle, I know you're home.
I don't respond.
Sir.
Who the fuck is this guy? As the stranger knocks on my door, a bright glow emanates from the coffin's lead glass porthole window filling the cabin. I run to slam the viewing lid closed, but I'm too late. The man shoulder checks the door, breaking the lock, and lumbers into the doorway. I raise a wrench from my rolling tool cart.
Sir.
Exposing a shoulder holstered gun under his jacket.
Mr. Doyle,
A voice says from outside.
we just need to talk.
Dropping the wrench, I back away and raise my hands.
Is there anyone else here?
No. No one else. From outside the door, another voice trickles in. Walking cane, clicking with each step.
That isn't exactly true, is it, Mr. Doyle? Is she here now?
His eyes locked onto the glowing light leaking from the viewing window as he steps further inside.
Oh, now, no need for violent posturing. We are friendly here, right, Mr. Doyle?
Sorry, what the fuck is going on? Looking over the device, he places his hands behind his back.
I pictured you different when you first started posting online. It is less crude than I imagined, though.
Tapping a large cable coming out of the bottom with his foot.
What does this do?
It's to power the electromagnets for the Signatron. Peering inside the viewing window.
Why not just a device small enough for the haunted object?
She wouldn't materialize if it was too small, and a miniature synchrotron is beyond my capabilities. Budget. He is swimming in her glow.
Well, what is your end goal?
I pause. I hadn't thought about it, really. I was just obsessed with the power. Having her energy in my hands for something.
Do you know why human sacrifice is practiced by people all over the world? Civilizations who never communicated. Isolated people.
I stare, knowing he's about to tell me.
Because it is demanded of them. Because those whom are hungry for souls demand it. And because they cannot separate them from this mortal coil. Try as they might.
Like demons?
Judeo-Christian-like demons and angels don't exist. These are something else. Just as animals cannot use the energy from the sun for life, or even eat grass that grows directly by the sun. Not even a cow can digest grass alone, but the bacteria in the cow's stomach. That unlocks the energy for the grass, so the cow may survive. They need us to free the energy that souls have absorbed. And for a life of servitude we are rewarded here, stuck in a middle place between here and the beyond. They merely tilt the scales for us in exchange for what we desire.
So, satanic sacrifices?
The same idea, yes, but not satanic. You don't see the full picture yet. The sacrifices release the soul, the energy, at a known place and time for consumption before the soul can cross over beyond. Coming here to our realm takes energy. With nothing to feed on, vital energy would be wasted. A summoning ritual, freeing of the soul, satiation. Unfortunately, every year it gets harder to make a person disappear, but you What you have here is a way to reclaim lost souls floating between millions of them.
His attention snaps back from his daydream to the now.
Please, demonstrate your procedure.
I eye the big guy by the door and step toward the device. Running through the procedures, I shrink the inner space and ready the power supply. The capacitors hum as they charge. You might want to plug your ears. I fit my foam earplugs in. Seeing this, the thug plugs his ears and steps back. The old man removes his hearing aids. The ready button slowly blinks green. I press the control button. The magnetic field hums. The explosion of kinetic energy slams the internal tungsten closed. After a moment, I open the main chamber. Smoke billows out. It has a metallic smell. I slide the kinetically welded box out and pull a coin from the separated chamber. The old man points at the tungsten box.
What now, Mr. Doyle?
My hope is that she'll stay active and trapped, unable to retreat her energy for me to use as I wish.
Not just her, anyone, everyone. Perhaps we can come to an agreement. I have designs, needs for souls, and you, Mr. Doyle, could provide me with those. You will, of course, be very generously compensated. 2 souls alone brought my great-grandfather the wealth that has lasted us 3 generations, 17 offspring.
I look at the large man standing menacingly by the door, the butt of his gun visible.
Oh, this is your decision. They're watching now. We find they prefer to work with willing participants. Join our cabal and enjoy a life of pleasure.
His muscle opens the door for him. He stops, turns back to look at me.
You deserve everything you've ever wanted, Mr. Doyle. You just have to ask the right ones. But do hurry with your decision. The new moon is in but a few days.
His bodyguard pulls a card from his sports coat. The man's large hand offers it to me. It has a phone number on one side and a waxing crescent moon on the other. For several nights I sit in the cabin alone. Not a sign of her. But the panels of that box were so hot they were making a heat stain on the wooden floor. Her anger boiling inside that box like a pressure cooker. The phone line rings as I stare at the crescent moon printed on the business card. Thumbing the raised ink, the line clicks open.
I'll send a car tomorrow. Bring her.
The mansion is enormous. Stone, not facade like most new homes. Masonic temple-level stonework. The bodyguard ushers me inside from the town card. Holding my leather bag over one shoulder, I stare at the ceiling's intricate paintings that crowd the ceiling. The story of man's creation. Familiar, but different. A religious story missing angels and God. Man, supported by tendrils from the dark edges.
I couldn't find a duffel bag, Mr. Doyle.
He chuckles to himself until his cough cuts him off. I look at the old man, slightly confused. He points with his cane to my leather bag. The box actually melted through the first bag. He hobbles into a large study. The ceiling is high. The walls lined with books, old, heavily bound books. The center of the room has been cleared of furniture. Rug rolled to the edge of the room has revealed the marble floor. A large decorative circle penetrates 5 smaller circles, edge to edge. The old man taps the center of the 6.
Here. Yes. Place her here. It will provide the best view. It can be anywhere, but certain places lend themselves to more easily peeling back the veil. We want to make it easy for our guests.
The bodyguard opens the large windows of the room. I pull the contents of my bag out and I unwrap the box from its layers of wet cotton towels. I can feel the heat radiating. The last towel releases steam.
Very good, Mr. Doyle. Very good.
I raise a hammer from my bag.
No, Mr. Doyle. You must open the box during the ceremony.
The old man's bodyguard picks a large book from the desk and turns to a marked page. He stands holding the book with his back to the box.
Turn slightly, you oaf.
While tapping the bodyguard with his cane.
I need to see. Excellent. Mr. Doyle, I will let you know when to break the box open. Not before.
I can see the guard close his eyes as the old man begins to read the text aloud. Some language I've never heard. The large stone of the house rumbles. The edges of the room seem to dim and fade. A noise starts. It's high-pitched, piercing my ear, and it slides to a bass that echoes in my sinus cavities, distorting my vision. A crack begins to appear in front of me. The air is parted and a darkness has exposed itself. My ears pop as the hole rushes open, the old man yelling words over the rush of air back into the void.
Now, Mr. Doyle!
I smash the fragile tungsten, an explosion of light. Her soul fills the room and I can see deep into the void. For a quick moment in time, I see everything hidden inside. It's not a void at all. It's filled with flailing, floundering beings, skidding over one another. They can see us too. Things wriggling towards me, towards her light. Then some buckle-like cavity wrenches open, exposing a far deeper, darker lacuna. Small points of glowing light stretching to some infinite point, fading but never touching it. In that blink of a moment, her soul materializes and I see her face, her anger, her hate, the confusion right before the beast drags her into that chasm of a mouth. Her shape quickly rushes inside and then there she remains, frozen in a moment. Her soul constantly being torn to an infinite point, like those other points of light fading to the center of the beast. Its lips seal around her. I can feel it beginning to search in my mind, writhing over every crevice and fold of my brain until it finds what it is looking for. Time snaps back with the sealing of the crack. A rush of air pushes in from the outside, sliding me to the center of the room where the fissure closed.
Oh, a glorious moment. Did you see them?
Blood streams down from my nose over my lips.
It looks like they saw you as well. Soon you will receive your reward. You will know their glory. What are you waiting for? Help him up.
The bodyguard pulls me up from the ground.
We have work to do, Mr. Doyle. Take him home.
Suddenly, like it was in the forefront of my mind all along, I knew what it found, what it promised me, what it gave me, what I must do. So I continued for years, getting tips about violent death from my unwitting associate. After she would clean the visible stains, I would steal the parts of people that remained, feeding the beasts and being fed by them. The old man continued to reward me, financially, social connections, power, his parties, women, drugs, until the old man could no longer stand on his own. And what did he have to show for it? No legacy. His name would soon be erased forever. Visiting him in his piss-soaked bed, his fragile body disgusts me.
My boy, I could never thank you enough. Your years of service and friendship. When the time comes, my lawyers will be in contact. You are about to be one of the richest men in the world.
I stand and unlock the wheels of the bed and begin to roll him down the hall to the study. I've never really wanted that.
No, I guess you haven't. What do you want? What did they see inside of you? What are they giving you?
You've never really seen them, have you?
I don't know what you mean.
What they really are. I mean, you could have had anything. Anything, and you choose flesh and money.
Money is power in this world.
I open the door to the study. His guard stands holding the ritual book. This world is just the beginning, rolling him into the 6 circles. But today, you will see them for what they are, and what I will become.
Oh, no.